No problem.
Today's grab bag of weirdness involves light. Weird light. It was the spring of 1934. The world was in the grip of the Great Depression. Italy was under Mussolini's rule. And in a quiet Adriatic town called Pirano, a woman lay sleeping in a hospital bed. Glowing, not metaphorically, literally glowing. The first account hit the Kansas City Star on April 6, 1934. Strange light in a woman. Patient in an Italian hospital presents a mystery. Nurses at Pirano Hospital swore they saw a light resembling an electric flash come from the breast of Signora Anna Monaro, glow for about 3 seconds, and disappear. It happened again and again. By the next night, 4 doctors, the provincial praetor Genovese, and the political secretary Fonda came to see for themselves. They, too, witnessed the glow. The locals split into 2 camps. Camp Owner 1, it's a miracle. Camp Owner 2, lady swallowed a flashlight. The story caught fire. April 8th, 1934, the Idaho Statesman, the Shreveport Times, the Springfield News Leader, and dozens of syndicates ran nearly identical pieces. Doctors from all over Italy traveled to Trieste to gawk. Hospital director Dr. Sambro ordered her isolation. Staff searched her bed for hidden flashlights. They found nothing. They tested electric lamps to see if they could reproduce the peculiar blue glow. Nothing matched it. Anna herself didn't know she was the center of a national sensation until her daughter told her. Her response? She was troubled. Someone kept turning the light on and waking me up. On April 23, the Idaho Statesman reported that none other than radio pioneer Guglielmo Marconi had the woman transferred to Rome. He wanted her under the National Council of Research in a clinic with equipment capable of registering and perhaps determining the nature of the phenomenon. By this point, credible witnesses claimed the light was sufficiently strong to light up a room, and then nothing. In Rome, under strict medical supervision, the glow never returned. Thanks to later Italian accounts, we know the investigation was serious. Neurologists brought in galvanometers and Faraday cages. No electrical charge. Professor Giocondo Prati floated a biochemical theory. Maybe her fasting, illness, and stress had triggered strange chemical reactions in her body, producing compounds that could glow like the sulfur-based chemicals in fireflies, only deep in her chest. Even Nobel laureate Enrico Fermi is said to have been consulted. Still, no one could make her light up again. In September 1934, a 52-page scientific report was published in La Ricerca Scientifica. It concluded nothing.
The truth is out there, and it begins with you. Welcome to the Cosmic Fold, where we talk high strangeness. Call us at 928-288-2942. That's 928-288-2942. Or join us by video. If you're at a computer, just look for the link in the chat. Buckle up, sit around our virtual campfire, and let's get started.
When you live out in the middle of nowhere, like, I don't know, northeast Arizona, for instance, there's not a lot to do. But one thing that is kind of fun to do is to go UFO hunting. So after our Cosmic Fold Paranormal Highway show on Saturday, August 9, my friend Kathy and I drove down Highway 180 toward Holbrook. That's that place that has all the Indian teepees, if you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, about 15 miles in, we found the perfect spot, what looked to be a pyramid-shaped mountain, a rancher's windmill, and plenty of room to park and turn around. Kathy brought her crystals and blanket. I brought 3 very mediocre cameras, a ghost app, and snacks. Always snacks. You have to have them whether you eat them or not. Anyway, we timed it just right. The sun had slipped away and the night cooled down. Across the highway, Kathy checked out some kind of weird lights. that were kind of flashing across 180. Anyway, it turned out that they were solar and Christmas lights strung along a barbed wire fence with crosses marking a roadside memorial. At the same time, my ghost app started chiming in with phrases like,
Under the ground. We don't like investigators.
and some random names.
Bernice, Carmilla, Harry, Hardy.
Granted, it was kind of creepy, but nothing really that extraordinary. About an hour and a half passed. The ghost app announced.
Someone's coming.
A few minutes later, a car drove by. But other than that, not much else. The real highlight of the night, a really cool moonrise. When I checked my footage later, one cell phone camera that I had laying on the ground showed a strange bouncing light. Pretty excited, I clipped it, boosted the contrast, and sent it off to Kathy. Told Denise about it. Because I thought, well, maybe we caught a UFO after all. To be sure, I ran it through Deep Agent. Deep Agent is an AI forensic tool. It churned through the satellite and weather data, even scoured information from the International Space Station, and then it produced a 12-page official-looking report.
Video Forensic Analysis Report, Anomalous Bright Light Phenomenon. Location, Northeastern Arizona. Analysis date, August 10, 2025. Prepared by Automated Forensic Analysis Systems.
And the kicker was its conclusion.
Final assessment, anomalous phenomenon, unknown origin. The evidence presented in this analysis suggests the presence of technology or phenomena beyond current understanding, warranting immediate attention from relevant scientific and investigative authorities.
Now that was pretty exciting. But, me being me, I ran it through other AIs. Their take?
If this were a self-propelled object, a ground-fixed camera makes it easier to see a coherent track. We don't see that. We see jitter around roughly the same spot. Most likely, given ground placement, it's a bright near-zenith star, very likely Vega, possibly Deneb, whose apparent position/brightness fluctuates due to atmospheric turbulence and small ISP adjustments.
Translation. Just a bright star wobbling in the atmosphere. Now, I don't take AI's answers at face value. I make them argue. So I asked Deep Agent to review ChatGPT's star explanation. It produced a 7-page rebuttal report. Its conclusion?
Final determination. The forensic analysis provides overwhelming evidence that ChatGPT-5's fixed star hypothesis is incorrect. The observed bright light represents a genuine unidentified aerial phenomenon with autonomous flight characteristics that cannot be explained by stellar motion or camera artifacts. Confidence level, 95%, high confidence.
So, of course, I whipped that thing back to ChatGPT. Its reply?
The report's strongest claims hinge on pixel domain kinematics treated as real-world motion without optical calibration or distance, plus statistical conclusions that don't align with the stated p-values. My measurements on your 26-second clip, together with the sky context, Vega essentially overhead at that time of year, support the fixed bright star plus scintillation explanation.
No matter what I gave it, whether it was GPS coordinates from the highway, phone specifications, everything. ChatGPT, Gemini, several other AIs stood firm. It's just a star. So, after seeing these videos and the AI evidence, what do you guys think? Is it a UFO or just Vega playing tricks? One thing I know for sure, the full moon that night was magnificent. And in a world where truth gets twisted daily, that big bright moon felt like the most honest thing of all.
Wow. It was cool. I have a question for you, Deborah. Was the camera just sitting there, was it untouched the whole time?
On the ground.
On the ground.
Yep.
And so some of the I thought
it was a cell phone camera facing up to the sky.
Right. And it was left on.
I had it on my head, but then I took it off my head, just put it on the ground because I thought it would be more stable there. Now this clip shows up and Kathy's there too. She was this clip was 18 minutes, and this was just a little piece that I saw that
Right.
came out through there. And so I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, the
I have
18
to
minutes.
say, the
Was there anything else on the 18-minute clip? So it
nope,
was just
just
completely
that.
nothing there, and then all of a sudden this thing appears and then goes out of
Exactly.
frame.
And
Right.
so I've gone back and forth. Was this actually an object? Because it was only 26 seconds that because when you see those, they're really fast.
Yes.
And the direction where it was the same area where Kathy and I both kept feeling like an energy.
Right.
And so I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. And I thought, well, it could be the star, but why would the star only show up for 26 seconds
Yeah,
out of
no,
18 minutes?
that doesn't make sense.
Oh yeah.
Did you tell the
And-
chat? Did you tell Chat GPT that it was only apparent for 26 seconds out of 18 minutes?
Oh yeah, I did a lot of prompting, and ChatGPT, the traditional AIs, all
Right.
just wanted to fixate on the fact with pixels.
Right.
And I have to say, the forensic analysis, the first one, that one, the pure data that it went through was just unbelievable. I mean, it went through military, known military stuff, all
Right.
flights coming in and out of Sholo and Flagstaff,
Right.
weather, stars, everything. And the ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, and I have access to a few others, they were all more fixated on the fact that it was a cell phone and it had to be pixels doing this. So I
Right.
leave it up to, and I've gone back and forth. I don't know.
I think that it's not uncommon to see that kind of UFO. Actually, that's the star-like UFOs that kind of do weird little maneuvers and then shoot off, especially where you live. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I mean, they're pretty frequently seen in the desert because there's not a lot of other stuff to notice. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's probably a UFO because if it wasn't there for the 18 minutes, was it, did at the, and then it shows up and then did it disappear and there was nothing else on there again?
Right. It just went back to
Then
normal.
it had to be a UFO. I mean,
I agree.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
And the other thing about it was the energy. We did this kind of serendipitously because I'm kind of planning a party with Bove and everyone to go out there at some point. So we're facing over Zuni land.
Right.
And,
there you go. Well, that's probably even more likely then.
And remember the last show, I was saying that thing in my ankle has been like burning.
Right.
And that's usually my sign. And so I just like Kathy, she's game to do weird crap with me.
That's cool.
Right on, Kathy. Right on.
So I just contacted her and said, you want to go out UFO hunting? And she's like, yeah. So it's like, okay, we'll go after the show. And so, and what was weird about it was raining. And I thought, well, maybe, and it was real cloudy, but they parted because Kathy said, well, if there's clouds, sometimes you see them even better, kind of like fishing, And so, but the spot we found was just perfect. I just knew I wanted to go out about, 10 miles out of the closest town and face over Zuni land. And so we didn't even know where we were going or anything, but it turned out so weird with that thing, that Kathy, light across the highway. And even the Ghost app, when it started talking like in
That's
line
weird.
with everything that was going on, was kind of strange.
Can I ask you one more question? Was there cloud cover before in the 18 minutes that maybe dissipated and then came back?
No, it cleared up when we got out there. So that's why I did the fast film. So I had one camera sitting on a fence pole out there. And so that one, I did the motion, where it went really fast with the clouds, and they had kind of blown off by then.
Right.
And so, it was odd, but I have to say, this forensic stuff, I was really impressed with what it went through.
Yeah,
And-
that's pretty thorough. Yeah.
And the other ones were way more fixated on the phone itself.
Well, but Chat GPT and stuff and Grok, I mean, that's the thing about AI. It's only as good as the person who programs it. You know what I'm saying? And if it's not programmed to look through all the data in the same way, in a really analytical way, and think of every single possibility, It's going to give you a half-assed answer, in my opinion.
Well, and the thing is, I think that some of it, their data that they're crunching is
Right.
not as good anymore because there's so many free users. I mean, I'm sorry about saying that, but this forensic one is a paid, kind of like people like me that use it as a tool, because I'm developing some apps and some other things that are
Right.
kind of don't look at it as an answer machine, but as a tool.
Right.
And
Right.
so that one is way more scientific
Right.
in what it's going to look at. Because I mean, I use it for water flow and all kinds of stuff. So,
Well, I mean, I am also a photographer, you know, and hey Donald, were you aware of the light? That's a good question.
no, because it was so fast, 26 seconds. But I can say that Kathy and I were both like feeling something in that area. We both kept feeling something. Kathy,
Right.
did you
Well-
want to chime in?
Yeah, well, first off, there was a building across the street, some kind of shack. So that's where those lights were coming from. But I also took a flashlight, and about halfway through our adventure, I started flashing the flashlight. And, you know, close to the horizon there at one point, I got a flashback. I mean, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about that. It was dark and everything else, and then there's a bright flash of light that hit me. So,
Wow.
so yeah, the action was, you know, the activity was there. And as far as us seeing it, no, we had no sight of it. And I came home wondering the star, you know, camera movement. And I lined my camera up that night with our street lamp. And in order to create that pattern, you actually have to do some gymnastics with your hand.
You'd have to move the
You
camera.
know,
Yeah.
just to move one way or another, that camera is going to go straight. In order for something to turn around, you
Right.
got to twist your phone. So
That's
there's another, you know, reason to believe that it was UFO. I believe it was a UFO. They were just leaving a calling card. And now the fact that I find out that we were underneath Lyra and we were by the Zunies, it makes even more sense to me that it was something saying hello.
I think so. You know, the other thing I was going to say is I am a photographer too, you know, as well. That's one of the things I've done. Sorry, but I mean, that's I've done a lot of photography. So I know a lot about cameras. And that was one of the things I used to do in MUFON is look at not, I wasn't this total technical analyst, but people would come to me first, and then we would take it to like a person who was like a total technician to look to see what kinds of things might be camera problems. And, you know, that to me did not look like a camera issue, because the only way that would be a camera issue is if you were holding it. If you were holding it, then your slight movement would make it move like that. If you were just holding it even like that, it could do that. But because it's far enough away that you could just the slightest bit of, you know, movement would do that. But not if, you know, your camera, the aperture of the camera would not make it move like that.
Well, exactly. And that's number one, why I wanted your input, because you have been with MUFON and I know you're a photographer. And the other thing is I had put it on the ground next to kind of Kathy and I were standing by this blanket she had brought, and I put it on the ground. At first I had it on my head and I thought, well, even breathing can kind of shake. So I'm hearing background from somewhere.
There is some kind of, I don't know.
It's a dog. I think
it's a dog.
Sounds
is it
like
a dog? It might be a background like television thing.
I think it's coming from Kathy's. No,
yeah. Kathy's muted.
My dog.
No, I just muted her. I'm testing everything.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. So it's bouncing somewhere off her stuff, but
yeah. I don't think there's any normal explanation for that. The other thing I have to say is, I've been in situations before where I did not see the UFO, but when I took photos, they showed up. And that can happen sometimes. I don't know why. And sometimes you're just not paying attention to the sky in the area where, you know, you're not looking in the right place. But The other thing is sometimes there are people who take pictures and really elaborate UFOs show up, and it could be like an obscuring thing with light. The light is captured differently, or the camera.
I had a friend that went to Peru, and he had a whole stack of photographs, and I was going through them, and it was like the sky, and then the foliage was on each side of the picture, but the sky was open, and there was 3 metallic discs sitting in the sky. And I took that picture to him, and I said, "Why did you never tell me you had a picture of UFOs?" And he said, "I never noticed that."
That's
wow.
right. Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's kind of like that picture I have too from Wisconsin on Lake Superior, headed to Madeline Island on the ferry. And my friend Chris is just taking pictures. Nobody saw it because they move so fast.
They move so fast.
You don't.
And they can also they have cloaking devices too. I know this because one time I saw an actual UFO while it was kind of halfway cloaked. And I reported it to MUFON. It was right above the grocery store in the middle of the day, but you could see through it. It was like, remember those Wonder Woman cartoons where she's flying around, but it was sort of like you can see the outline of the thing, but you couldn't, it was kind of sort of blending into the sky. And someone else reported it too.
That's how I felt. That's how I felt our UFO on 40 was, that it was cloaked in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could almost see the energy field,
right?
Connecting them in the triangle.
Yeah.
Can I add something?
Sure.
You're talking about discovering it later on film when you didn't know it was there. Conversely, a lot of people who experience group experiences of sightings with many people, and they pull out, if they think of it, they pull out a camera to take a picture. There's nothing there. They can never, if it wants to be filmed, it'll be filmed. If it doesn't want to, you aren't able to. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I had a feeling, just look. Even though you're sitting there watching 18 minutes of stars, I just have that sense, because when I get those really strong, like, you need to go do this, like now, if I do it, it usually pans out.
So good you listen to that.
Yeah.
That's good. That you listen,
So,
we're supposed to follow that excitement always.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's how we create our reality.
Well, Bove, when you come out with our party, when we do this again, so what I'm going to do is mount a, in addition to just the spirit sound box thing, I'm going to put something out there that will detect the, like you could see spirit energies. What are those things called? I bought the app from those Australian people that are really good. And it shows the, if there's presences walking around, because I kind of felt that.
Let's go take it out this weekend then and test it.
No, it's not for this weekend. I'm not feeling it.
Really? Because we got a black moon coming up, and that only happens once in every couple years.
The new moon, you mean, or
what is that?
Yeah, I don't know what the black moon is, but I know you're talking about. It's a new moon, probably, right?
It means 2 full moons in the same month.
Oh, like a blue moon. Yeah, that's
blue moon.
Yeah, it's a blue moon thing. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, but there is
they described it differently than the blue moon.
Well, maybe it's 2 new moons in the same month. You think that might be
That's
a black
what I'm
moon?
thinking.
I think so, because it did mention that under a new moon, the stars are more visible.
Yeah, because there's no light. Yeah. Besides, oops, my dog.
Well, is that my dog?
No, that was Denise's dog.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that don't sound like Yorkie.
Do you have a Yorkie? Kathy, you have a Yorkie? She can't hear me, can she?
What? I didn't hear.
You have a Yorkie.
No, I bought a Yorkie. I bought a Yorkie, but it wasn't a Yorkie.
Oh, what is it?
Oh.
So he's named Yorkie.
I see.
He's a Jersey.
He's a Jersey.
So-
Turn
I
my
had
sound
a
down.
Yorkie that died a couple of years ago. She was
Oh.
18. I had her since she was a baby.
Yeah,
So
they're good dogs.
every
Yeah,
time
I didn't
see a
know. He's a
Yorkie-
terrier.
Right. There is a type of that looks like a Yorkie, but it's bigger. What's the name of that dog? Kind of dog? I can't remember the name of that dog.
I think Mutt.
Howdy.
Oh, hi.
Oh,
Hey,
it's brainy
3D.
girl.
3D, let me know if I have permission to do this. I started on a script, but it's 5 soul hacks to escape reincarnation. I've been researching. That was just such an incredible idea, but she needs to get credit for that if I do it. So, and it was really hard. It's like, but I'll put together a video about it if she's game. But
Cool.
oh, okay, we've got her permission. I don't steal people's creative ideas. Have at it. Okay, I'll give you credits at the end. So, what did you guys? In the beginning thing, I cut out part of it just so I could fit everything in. With the UFO, which I thought was more entertaining. But that lady that was glowing,
Yeah,
that was an odd. And
Yeah.
it was like a blue, and they said that it even like lit up the room at one
Room.
point.
Yeah.
And so I was researching that, and they were saying that, well, maybe a combination of like sickness, and she had been fasting and had asthma, like that could create some kind of chemical thing. But I'm thinking to have
No.
a light like that was crazy,
No.
and they never really resolved it.
No, I
No.
don't think so. I think that was probably, a spiritual thing. And
Was,
people yeah.
was radioactivity explored?
That's an interesting point. Yeah.
I don't know if they did or not because I can't read Italian, so I didn't know. I was aware of that report.
Google
Maybe you
can.
can. But
That would
even
kinda
at
make
Fermi, looking at that, he probably would have thought of that. And it's
I would
like,
think so. Yeah.
They're trying to
I
tell
think-
her she had an electrolyte imbalance. Are you serious? I think she swallowed kryptonite. Would you like it? That's unbelievable.
And there have been no additional similar cases. She's the one, the only.
Whoa.
I don't
Exactly.
know. Is that true? Is that true, or is
At
this
least
the only one that's
reported. At least
It's
reported.
reported?
I
Because I've
spent some
heard
time trying to find others.
she did live, right? She did live,
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to ask that too.
right?
Did she get better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
I
did.
mean, it could have been some kind of spiritual being trying to heal her or something like that.
True.
And maybe that's why it came and went. I mean, people report seeing lights like that around people who are going to transition. So
Mhm.
maybe she was on the brink of death and something spiritual happened to kind of keep her alive. It seems more likely something weird like that than some kind of chemical thing. Because if it was a chemical thing, it would happen more frequently. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
and that's what prompted my next question. Was she the one, not the one
Right,
and only?
exactly, right,
Yeah.
I found something
Ooh.
What?
because I didn't want to be misstating. And I remember, from my tragic Catholic background, that there are a lot of figures in Catholic
Yes.
lore,
Right.
that glow, usually associated with they're from heaven or they're particularly elevated spirits, like
Mhm.
Mary always had a force field, all that kind of thing.
Right.
So I looked it up and I found something really interesting. It's called Angel's Glow. And it was recorded during the Civil War, the United States Civil War. Some soldiers who were wounded, their wounds emitted a bluish green light. And
Wow.
those with the
Interesting.
glow were said to recover faster.
See, it's spiritual.
So it's
Well,
a
wait to
spiritual
hear
thing.
this. The glow is now attributed, grain of salt, the glow is attributed to a type of bioluminescent bacteria found in nematodes.
Well, you know,
worms.
those
Ooh.
nematodes, there was this guy I knew that they're so powerful that there was this problem out here in the West where all these trees were dying because of bark beetles, because of the
Yes.
drought, and they were like burrowing under the, and so that this, he's since died, but um, he was introducing nematodes to this, and the nematodes would eat the bark beetles, and then contaminated wells that had like oil spillage or plastics or things like that, the nematodes eat that too. So that makes a lot of sense, Helen. That's a good find.
Well, keep in mind that it's not
But it was green and not
unheard
blue.
of in the past.
But wasn't it green glowing, not blue?
Blue green.
Blue green,
And
okay.
in the past,
But did they flash on and off
well,
like that?
it didn't say. It was just a brief description. But in
Right.
the past, and sometimes even today, especially with like gangrene, they will use worms. They will put them, flesh-eating worms, into the wound in a controlled environment because they will eat away all of the dead,
bad
and
stuff.
they'll
Right.
consume the bacteria. I bet that's. But she didn't have an open wound, did she?
No, she didn't. No.
No, and it was coming from like out of her chest.
It was coming from deep in her chest, they said.
Right.
And it was blue and it lit up the whole room. And
Well,
that
yeah.
sounds, you know, to me that like the other thing I think about the blue light is there's a blue light association with a lot of ET stuff, you know, seeing a blue
Yeah.
light before an
Yes.
abduction. And also Mary is associated
Yeah.
with the blue light. And it's a very kind of divine, like,
Yeah.
because I do the aura portraits, whenever you see a blue, like flashy looking thing in the aura, it's usually a divine feminine kind of energy, and a white one is a male. And she's a woman. So maybe it was some kind of her own divinity or her own spirit kind of trying to heal herself. I don't know. It could have been a lot of different things, but it doesn't.
Well, remember Travis Walton?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, you know, he got hit by a blue beam. And you know, Our Lady of Guadalupe, I looked that up too because this is my memory anymore. But her light, surrounding light, is usually gold.
Gold. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Hers is gold. Yeah.
I've had those blue lights like when I lived in Phoenix and was going through like all this weird psychic crap with, you know, I even unplugged phones and they would still ring,
Right.
and dead people calling me and just weird crap. But I had somebody over one time and they actually saw it. It was like this blue, I thought maybe it was like a lightning ball or something. I didn't know what it was, but it was like in my living room and it like flashed this blue everywhere.
Was
in
it
there.
was it like a orb? Did it start out like an orb, or
Yeah.
was it just a light? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like an orb, and then it like exploded into this almost like
Right.
blinding light.
Well, that's what it
And-
sounds like happened to her. I mean, it sounds like she had some kind of an orb going into her body and then maybe exploding outward. And I mean, I had an experience like I had pneumonia, and I was really, really, really sick. I had like 105. I should have been in the hospital. And I was it was during Christmas, and I was at my in-laws' house, and I wasn't anywhere near a normal doctor, and it was like Christmas time. So I was going to go to the hospital the next day if I didn't get better. I should have probably gone that night. But anyway, that night I saw like 3 tall, luminous beings surrounding me and putting this, crystal gem thing into my heart chakra. And
wow.
I woke up the next day and I was completely normal. I had no fever. I didn't have the pneumonia anymore. It completely went away. So maybe it was something like that, you know, that other people witnessed because she was in a hospital setting. You know what I'm saying? And maybe they experienced it as some kind of light phenomenon when it was some kind of interaction with some interdimensional being or something. You know, she didn't remember anything though. She didn't even know what happened.
No,
right?
well, she just
Denise,
thought
what
when
was that
her.
book? Oh, sorry.
What?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm asking Denise, do you remember the book that I did? I don't remember the name of it. You actually texted me and told me that this guy is legit. He wrote a
Oh, Lou Elizondo. Lou Elizondo's book.
No, not him. He was friends
Okay.
with him, but this is the separate guy, the other guy.
I don't know.
God, I gave the book away. I had a drawing and I gave the book away, so I can't remember what his name was. But that was one of the many things he described, trying to take pictures of a group sighting. Everyone sees it, couldn't get it on film. And in their house, they were bothered for decades by balls of light, orbs that would run around the room, and they were told, don't let the blue ones touch you.
No, the green ones. It's the green ones. The green ones are the bad.
Green?
Yeah, the green ones are the bad. And that's Lou Elizondo. Yeah.
Well, it's also in this other book because they struggled with it with their family. It was really bad.
Lou Elizondo had that same experience. I think I think that's, but he worked on the UAP phenomenon, and he was warned about this because this was something that happened to everybody who worked on the UAP stuff. These orbs would show up in their house, and the any color except for the green ones. The green ones were dangerous and aggressive for some reason, and all the other ones were peaceful and healing. So
in my experience and what I've read, it's the lime green ones that are bad.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in that clip where I showed just a little flash of our Idaho, paranormal highway. There was a story from 1967 where these two Native Americans, were driving along, and this bright green, that same kind of like lime green light came, and these UFOs came, and it made their car stop. And one of the guys like tried to run to this farmhouse, and there was like this bright green thing like following him. Then and they could see, and they were like grays, and they were really mean, and like it was not a good. And so the time that I personally experienced it, so on the rare times that I see auras, if I see that lime green, it's like, crap,
that's
I'm
a bad color.
Away.
That's a bad color. Yeah, that chartreuse green is specifically is bad. And yes, you're right.
Like if you see it associated with people, you mean?
Yes.
People, and so I had gone to this like gathering in Phoenix. This is years ago. And they were like, UFO stuff, and I was kind of like new into all of this. And this one guy was talking to like his UFO stuff, and then all of a sudden I started seeing like that lime green everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was like trying to come into me, and I just left. I just couldn't, the other people, it was like fine, but this guy was a bit much.
Was he the leader of that group? Was he the leader of that group?
No, at that time it was no. But
okay.
A lot of people, like how a lot of people worship New Agers, they were like really into him. I can't remember what his name was, but anyway, I got home and I could still see like these lime green things like chase like around me, and I was like, "Oh, get out!" And I pushed them out, and they literally make me sick to my stomach, throwing up and stuff. It's like I don't like those. And so I think what you're talking about with the UFOs with the negative green, I suspect it's that lime green color.
Yeah, it's a very specific color green, because most greens are not bad. Like green, like emerald green is really nice, but it's like a weird neon chartreuse, kind of like pukey.
Yeah, kind of muddy, kind of a muddy.
It's not. Green. It's like fake. It's like it looks very fake. It looks like a neon color, but it looks off. It's like a yellowish green, and it's really, really fake looking. And what I've noticed, I saw it the first time I saw it, me and my husband were actually going to this woman's thing. I won't say her name, but she was supposed to be a medicine woman. And we were in this class, and she turned the lights down, and we were sitting at the back, and all of a sudden we could see her aura was that color. It was this disgusting color. And both of us saw it, and we're like, whoa, what the hell? And I realized every time I've seen it since, it's somebody who's a trickster, somebody who's a liar, someone you can't. So it's manipulative, and it's lying, and it's extremely negative. Yeah. I won't name people who I've seen it around.
Oh, darn, that was my next question.
Politicians.
partial list.
Some politicians.
I've seen it around like some religious leaders too.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That color. And it's like and it tends to be when they're, I won't say who, but when they're very greedy, greedy, money.
It's all about greed and manipulation and trickster. And I think my theory about it is, this is my theory about that color, is that green is the heart chakra color, right? And so it's a really beautiful healing color, but I feel like this is like a put on, like you're trying to mask or pretend like you're something you're not.
Or it's a corruption of it.
And it's a corruption of the healing. It's like greedy and selfish, and you're trying to trick people into believing you're something that you're not. You see it a lot around con artists and people that are liars. That's mostly where you see it. So I know exactly that color. Yeah. So that guy was probably a con artist that you were around, and people were buying it, and you probably were assaulted by that energy, you know?
Yeah,
perhaps.
I cannot stand all of the lying and manipulation. That's like I really don't like it. It just makes me it makes me so uncomfortable. And it's like, I don't know. And it does. It seems to have that yucky green energy that makes
it yucky. It's like if it wasn't if it wasn't neon, it would look muddy. It's a really weird color. It's so fake looking. It looks very fake.
Exactly. Well, speaking of lights, has anyone seen anything, or do you want to talk about Atlas? I have a PowerPoint, but you know enough about. I'll bring up the PowerPoint later that show pictures, but it's interesting in that they're saying now that this, what is it? 3-eye Atlas. So the 3 is the third. Third eye is for interstellar, and then Atlas is what the
observatory.
Chile.
It's observatory that found it.
And so anyway, what they're watching here, it's now emitting its own light, and you notice once again, it's that blue, that bright blue. It looks like. I mean, I don't know if that's the camera that makes it look that color, or any thoughts about that? When is it supposed to be here?
3-eye
3D, really good point. It's like bile. That green.
Yeah, it is kind of like that. But like if you turn that into a neon sign. But fluorescent. Yes, exactly.
What is it that's emitting the glow?
The actual okay, so there's a interstellar object. This is the third one. There was Maya, and there was, I can't remember the first one, but this one is entered into our solar system. It's very far away from us still, but we can see it, and it's extraordinarily bright, unusually bright, so bright that they really don't have there's no real theories that really make sense, but they're starting to realize that internally the core of it, which they were saying that the light was coming from reflected sunlight from the corona, like the corona of dust, and that the dust was making this really bright. But what they've discovered recently is that it's actually emitting the light from internally in the core, not from the dust. And it's moving around inside of this core. And this is like, it's so much brighter than a normal interstellar object that we've seen. There may be some kind of natural explanation for it, but that paired with the fact that it's going to go right through the orbital plane of like all of the planets is very strange as well. Like that's not normal.
I'm going to show you the pattern. This is from SETI, where it's supposed to go. Well, you can see how close it's going to go to Mars.
Yes.
Is that like October-ish, I think, Denise, when it gets that close?
It's going to go behind the sun. It's going to be behind the sun in late October. Like the 29th is supposed to get past the sun. And if it doesn't, this is like a lot of scientists are saying, if it doesn't show up on the other side of the sun, then we know it's some kind of piece of equipment. It's some kind of probe or spaceship. It's not a natural object. Maya probably wasn't a natural object, because when it reached the sun, it should have like slowed down, but instead it sped up really fast after it got past the sun. And this object, they think, if it gets to the sun and stays there and stays hidden from us, And then it's probably some kind of giant mothership. It's massive, it's really big, and it's also kind of flat shaped as well, which is weird. So there's a lot of strange things about it that don't make sense. Is this the one that has a really iffy return trajectory and maybe cloud burst on it? No, it's not. It's not gonna. They don't.
Oh, good. That's something else.
It's not. It's not gonna. It's not supposed to hit us at all. But it is close enough theoretically, and this is another thing that's weird about it. It's close enough. Like, for example, when we go to Jupiter or we've been to Saturn with our probes, the trajectory we use is very similar. So it's close enough to the planets that we can take pictures of them, right? And not get caught in their orbit. And that's what this thing is doing, which is very weird. This isn't really not normal. Usually they get caught in an orbit that's outside of the center of all the planets, because you're basically going, you have all of these objects that have all of this gravity, and to go right through it, like an object like that, and it's close to not just Mars, but it gets close to Venus and all of the planets, basically, at some point, close enough that it could take pictures or theoretically deploy missions from this object, like smaller craft or something.
Well,
so
I know what it is.
Yeah.
It's the Starship Enterprise, right?
That would be cool.
Process of elimination,
Well,
right?
that's the feeling. As you guys were talking, I just kept getting this feeling, time capsule, and I don't know why I'm getting that sense.
Oh.
Or maybe it's because it's taking images, or if it's not a natural object, or it is something that maybe we sent off in the future coming back, or who knows?
Wouldn't that be so weird if it was actually from our past when we were smarter? And it's programmed to return?
It could be.
I've actually speculated about that, quite a bit, because a lot of these UFO things, I wonder if they have something to do with our past or our future and interacting with us rather than them being extraterrestrial, so to speak.
The one at Rendlesham Forest, probably a lot of, that's sort of the vibe of that one. You've heard that story, the Rendlesham Forest case?
Yes.
That guy, the military guys who interacted with it, that was the information they got about it, that he got a series of 0-1s. He got a binary code. And he didn't know what it meant. He just wrote down the 0s and 1s, and somebody decoded it. Time capsule, plot bunny. I was thinking, someone called Graham. Yeah,
I've been reading Robert Temple's book on Sirius, the Sirius system, and the Dogon, and the Egyptians, and my head is just all full of all kinds of stuff. Oh, Denise, I looked it up. His name was Chris Bledsoe, UFO.
Oh, Chris Bledsoe. Yeah, Chris Bledsoe. Yeah. Yeah, but yes, he's kind of like in communion with these orbs. Like he has a relationship. Yeah, he's different. Yeah, Chris Bledsoe. Yep, that's right. But
although, did you see the one on Did you see on the Skinwalker Ranch when they? No, it was the Beyond Skinwalker. When they brought him out to Skinwalker Ranch.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, all this negative energy bounced back. This was one time he couldn't experience the orbs, and it was like this greenish, once again, that bad light.
The green one. Yeah.
Yeah, like blocking him.
Yeah.
It just makes me wonder.
Well, I don't know if you guys listen to Linda Moulton Howe at all. She's on Ancient Aliens, and she has the Earth Files.
I have her books. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So do I. And she's been covering this stuff for a really long time. Since the 70s, she started she fell into it. And she's been told, she's been told that there are all these different races interacting, and some of them are like but the extraterrestrials, she breaks them down. Supposedly that she got briefed by military people who, wanted the information to come out.
Whistleblower types, yeah.
Whistleblowers. And basically, one of the things that's happening is that there are friendly ones who are here to help us and who have a very positive agenda. They are spiritually connected to us. They want our spiritual development. There are neutral ones who are kind of just curious and just sort of like, just very neutral. They don't care either way. And then there are hostile ones that are actively trying to harm us. And that she claims, according to what she was told, that World War II was really about that. It was actually it was a war between the ones who wanted us all to die and the ones who wanted to protect us. And it was sort of fought through human bodies. But if you think about it, the Nazis were very involved with
Yes.
all this stuff, and it kind of makes sense, but they tapped into something that was evil, and was and destructive. And, the good guys were helping the Allied forces, and the bad guys were helping the Nazis to try to kill everybody. You know what I mean? Kind of makes sense.
Yep.
But, you got to take all this with, we don't know for sure, but it's an interesting idea. Yeah.
So what do you think about this Atlas thing? I mean, any speculation, any of you, or?
Intuitively, I feel like it's not a normal. I mean, I don't feel like it's a comet. I feel like it's something else. I mean, my first thought when I heard it, I felt like it was some kind of mothership, or some kind of bigger thing. And the reason I think that is Oumuamua probably was some kind of probe. That was just a few years ago. So if that came, then it would make sense. Well, there's something here. Let's send some dudes out there and check it out. I mean, the fact that it's going in a trajectory we can't see it is weird too. Like It's flying in a direction we can't see, and it's hiding behind the sun and hiding behind other objects. And everything about it seems kind of too intelligent for just a regular comet. But also, I just think, we're in a really weird period of time, and astrologically, all those outer planetary things that were found. I don't know if you also heard about the fact that there's evidence to suggest there is a big, massive ninth planet out in that past the Oort cloud.
Yeah.
I think it's spaceship too. That there's this, that I think there was, I can't remember the name of the books now. But the guy who talked about the ninth planet coming back every 10,000 or 100,000 years, Kellen, you know who I'm talking about. The guy,
Zechariah Sitchin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
What did he name it?
Nibiru.
Okay.
Yeah, Nibiru.
So it kind of sounds like it could be there, and that what they can't see it, but it's giant because it's affecting the orbit of all the things in the Oort cloud. And it's affecting certain planetary, it's bending, and they can prove it by math, but they're still not sure. But it could be just a very dark planet that we just can't see that has or maybe it's the remnants of some kind of, I don't know, something else. I don't know. But it's interesting to think that that's also being kind of discovered now. And, all these other weird planets that are named all these creepy things, and now this, and now we're getting all this interstellar traffic. It's kind of odd. You know what I mean?
Can I have a slightly different take on the whole thing?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
I think as much as it's like intellectually and in the context of human history, it's significant and it's intriguing. I think it's ultimately a distraction, because I think what we're looking at it from one of two ways. They're coming as saviors or they're coming as destroyers. And so there's nothing we can do.
They're one of those.
I don't. Yeah.
What's the other option?
I think that they're probably
interesting.
They just be curious. I mean, and interested. I mean, if we were,
but their intention is going to cause a behavior on the part of human beings. So one way or the other, that's the kind of effect that it's going to have. People are going to freak out in one direction or the other. They're going
You're probably right. That is human nature. Yeah.
On their knees.
They already are.
Or shooting at them, one or the other,
Kathy's right too.
But I think what we need to do is to be focusing on today and what we're doing right here, right now, because that's really ultimately the determining thing. Space safari. I hope. Yeah,
alien tourism.
Guns to get a space trophy.
Well, I mean, I think that their intentions are probably neutral. I mean, they don't, maybe they are related to beings that have been interacting with us for a long time. And the other thing I thought is I've had a lot of visions of, and I know I'm not alone, other psychics have seen this, of just like an inundation of crafts, coming here for some reason.
Heard that. Yeah.
I've seen that multiple times. A couple times I was out and I thought I was actually witnessing it happen, and I realized it was just a vision being superimposed over the sky. And I maybe this is somehow related, because look, we're also like, we have to, I don't think, whatever they are, they're just a different life form. They're going to have their own agenda that's theirs, that's not related to us really. So, but if they are the people or the beings that have been interacting with us for hundreds of thousands of years, and maybe they're coming in mass, or there's some thing like that going on. The thing that I keep thinking is we are in a lot of existential crisis right now, many different types happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
And if they really believe that the earth was on the precipice of we were on the precipice of annihilating ourselves, and they were somehow spiritually 666. If we were,
That's funny. That's funny.
How much it cost her. Yeah. So if we were really on the precipice of some kind of mass, which we are, we're in the middle of a mass extinction event, and they were spiritually, are related to us in some way, like they were, helping us to evolve, some of them, those are the stories. And there is a lot of evidence to suggest that there has been interaction with these other types of beings for as long as human beings have been around, that maybe they would be coming if we were going to be on the precipice of some kind of complete disaster, to try to, not necessarily, who knows what their intentions would be. Maybe their intention would be to try to stop it, or maybe their intention would be to accelerate it. I don't know. You know what I mean? But you're right. People will freak out in either direction. People can't even get along with each other.
No.
They're not going to get along with beings from another place.
But I don't think all of us are going to freak out in either.
No,
direction.
no.
Those of us who are like used to this kind of subject or whatever, I just view it as like, it just is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go all the people here have been thinking about this stuff for probably my whole life. And some people have this is not in their daily at all. They just have they don't believe any of it. They don't want to think about it. They're not interested in it. And for those people, like, for example, there was back, I think it was maybe 2 years ago. It was right before they were going to do the disclosure stuff. We're talking about doing disclosure, and they were starting to kind of do some of it. And then all of a sudden there was this, what looked like a holographic kind of projection of this big giant weird beastie thing that came out in this, it was in Florida in the middle of this shopping mall.
In a mall, right?
And people freaked the fuck out. It was like watching like Independence Day, the movie, they were screaming, they were running down the street, every cop car from everywhere came to the scene. People were beating each other up and stuff like that.
Crystal's on the same and I was thinking reference. The ones that worship it too, like maybe the people standing on top of the building and then they get zapped, they're extreme like that, no discernment.
Yeah, exactly. And the people, but most people reacted in this mall setting. They were scared, they started running, they were screaming, they were on the streets getting into fights because they were so freaked out. And that's kind of what happened when Orson Welles aired, War of the Worlds. My grandmother told me people were throwing themselves out of buildings and committing suicide and freaking out and screaming and running down the street and stuff like that. So you think, I felt like that was a test, kind of. Can people really handle this truth or not? I don't think. And I don't know that they can. You know,
Well, all
I
you
don't
have
think
to do is bring the subject up in polite company. I've had people yell at me. We're having a good time here. We don't want to talk about that, you know, or
Exactly.
ridicule, pure ridicule.
True. That's true. You're
Well,
right.
my understanding is that they want to come. We're time to join the galactic family, and they will acclimate the planet first by just showing themselves more often.
They have been doing that. Yeah, they've been doing that for the last 80
I
years.
just hope the galactic family is not an extension of my family.
And I don't. I know.
I'm not kidding.
I know
It'd be like
difference.
think about a gigantic Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
I know different species sometimes can't interfere in what another, extraterrestrial is working on here. But like my dream with my father, watching him be abducted, and now I know I'm standing next to ET, and I say, why can't you help him? And the answer was, we can't interfere.
Yeah.
So whatever that program was that was happening, but there's always programs here throughout the cosmos. I believe that. I believe it's going to be Star Wars and, Star Trek. Why else has that been flooding into our awareness? Those movies.
Right. I mean,
Matrix.
Yeah.
That's information. That's information telling you, hey, it's a hologram. You're living in a hologram. You're creating it.
It's predictive programming. We always do that sort of thing.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Unless you're the Thanksgiving meal, that was pretty.
Yeah,
funny.
right.
Well, I think that would already be in our history if it was that bad.
Well, you got to think that if
we defeated Hitler and his masses.
You've got to think that if we have been interacting with these beings for as long as we have been,
Leonardo da Vinci,
and they are progenitors of us in some way, then there is some, even if you believe, like you're saying, there's a directive, you can't interfere, right? But obviously something did interfere with us. That's kind of how we probably came to be. But I think you're right in that the creator, there's a spiritual kind of principle. You're not allowed to impose your will on anything else, especially a developing intelligent group of individuals, right? So if that's the case, and if they did do that at some point, wouldn't they be karmically interconnected with us? And
they are.
Yes, exactly.
They are. We're all one with the source.
Well, it might be that they can't interfere because there's this whole story about Eisenhower signing contracts with them. You give us the technology, we'll allow you to experiment to a certain extent, abduct people, do animal experiments.
Right.
Maybe that's the contract they can't break.
Well, they say Spirit has signed the contract for the abduction experience because they'd lost all their emotions and stuff, and they needed new, fresh DNA.
That's what.
And we agreed to that before we incarnated. So
that's a theory. Yeah.
What can somebody tell me what we were thinking?
Well, the theory is that that you basically. Some people think that if you're getting abduction experiences, either you're somebody who is one of them who came here, who has agreed to sort of allow this, or that you've agreed to it for whatever reason, just like your whole life is sort of, you kind of are doing the architectural drawings of your life before you come into this, this world.
Before you incarnate.
Yeah. So that if it happens,
we're spirit, we're not body.
However, my only caveat about that is that would mean there'd be no free will whatsoever.
No. How could it take your free will?
Well, if you plan everything out and everything that happens to you is already preordained, and somebody, then how would it be like, for example, somebody murders someone else, or someone decides to stab somebody for no reason? Is that preordained, or is that somebody?
No, I see that as eye for an eye, tooth for tooth. If you kill someone, you're going to have to incarnate and experience that killings. Earth is a schoolroom for negative and positive and balancing for all
Agreed.
Denise,
incarnated entities.
Well, we've got some questions here because we'll get stuck on this. I mean,
Yeah,
a
we
long
just
time
done this
ago,
one.
I interviewed the Westboro Baptist Church, and we got stuck on this free will.
This you can go
hours.
on and on about that. That's a big question.
That's a
But I
conversation.
wanted to hit
wish I'd
some
been
of these
for.
other things, and then we'll open it up. The black cubes, that thing that I've been seeing, and also a good question from Joan here. Will they stop us from nuking ourselves, like some psychics suggest? I have heard that.
Only to a point.
I've heard that
I
too.
felt like that for a long time, but I don't think that's the case at this point.
No, I don't think so either.
I feel like that was.
Well, they won't allow Earth to be blown up. That's the final straw with them.
Well, it can be contaminated for human life for a very long time.
And it can spread out into the cosmos.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyway, it's come out again, leaked out through FAA documents or whatever. Remember when all those drones were buzzing around last fall? Well, out at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, once again, another of these black cubes. And so my feeling about those is that they're military. I really think that there's some kind of military. I don't know if they're ours or somebody else's that are but anyway, they keep showing up. And another thing I want to bring up, because it kind of tied in with what we were talking about. Oh, she says there's always something going on at Wright Pat. We always
that's such a bizarre shape for aeronautical.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
But remember when we were talking about this before, the guy that testified before Congress, and there was like that orb thing around it, and then I found those documents where there's a patent actually.
But that could have been back engineered. Yeah, but that could have been
with the cube.
Yeah,
I still think it's some kind of military thing. But
I do too.
You're right. There has to be. I mean, at this point, it's I'm sure they back engineered it and they have some kind of version of it. Yeah.
Now, this lady, she was on Joe Rogan's show. I think she's a Republican from Florida, but she was talking about that some of this stuff that showed up in these hearings and whatever, there are interdimensional beings and things like that. So she's one of them that are pushing for full disclosure, but I think that they come from like what you were talking about, Helen, about people going to either extreme, like either, this is a savior or it's the enemy. I think a lot of these people think it's, and I think a lot of these people are looking at it as this is some kind of an enemy.
Yeah, some kind of enemy. Yes.
But nonetheless, it moves on with disclosure. And then the other thing that I think is kind of weird that's going on right now is this magnetic.
Yes, that's also really good. Yeah.
And so I just don't know. Donald is over here. Keith asked, do we know the size of the cubes?
That's a good question.
They're not super big, Donald, but I have to look it up to see what exactly the size is, but they're not really big. Maybe a little bit bigger than some that they come in various sizes, actually. The ones I've been seeing, like psychically, are not very big. I'd say maybe the size of a living room or something. But then there's other ones that are like the size of a big house. So it kind of, as far as this one is, I think they need to release more paperwork so that we know, over the Air Force Base how big that one was. But I think they come in bright. But anyway, this thing is interesting because it makes me wonder. I noticed that Starlink is having all kinds of problems. They were down, 3 weeks ago? I know it went down big time. And then just this past week, it kept like fading out. And I know that this magnetic thing is affecting satellites and all of that. And so I wonder if the timing of like this Atlas thing, I just find it interesting that if our satellites are like shutting down because of this magnetic instability.
I just watched a special about this, and they noticed this date. This has actually been going on for a long time. There was a guy who did. It's a natural phenomenon where the magnetic field is depressed in that area, and because of that, it's causing satellites to freak out and not be able to function properly. They don't know what's causing it, but they do know that there's some kind of. They think it has something to do with the Earth's mantle being uneven
under Africa.
Yeah. And I
think that but I was just thinking, going full circle back around. Let's say that this Atlas probe or whatever it is,
whatever it is,
knew about this coming, and it's like an additional form of cloaking. Like if the satellites aren't working right, so they can't track exactly. I just think the timing of all of this is very interesting, that it's all kind of going on at the same time. And then I saw something about Stephen Burns saw one of the cubes. That's right. And he testified about that.
Yeah, that's right. I heard that testimony. Yeah. He didn't think he didn't say it was military though.
Who's Stephen Burns?
No. We had we showed his clip on the show a couple months ago when I was talking about these black cubes, because I've been getting dreams about them, like seeing like a whole bunch of them. And so we did a show on that. Denise and her husband had seen like it was more rectangular.
It was more a giant black rectangular, looked like a dumpster that was sitting over a house, but really giant, just floating over this neighborhood. For a long time. I have no idea what it was. But and that was back in the 80s. That was back in the 1980s. The thing that I think is really weird about the black cube stuff is that's something that's also in the phenomena of the UFO experiencer phenomena, but not as like a floating black cube, but a black cube that's used to pull people out of their body and to put them in other consciousnesses, like to be able to pull someone out of their body, put them in a new body. There's some kind of, it's like a cube that's used for some kind of control of consciousness. So that's also strange. And I don't really know what the correlation is between those two things, but it's weird. It's a big, isn't it?
Oh, yes. I know exactly who you're talking about, Chris. Well, he predicted the
you're talking about
the big earthquake and all kinds of stuff.
You're talking about, he's got a weird name, like a German.
Burns. Oh, I thought it was the Burns guy.
Yeah, it's different though, I think, what she's pointing to. Are you talking about Burns? Or are you talking about that guy? I wish I had my phone.
I just looked him up. He sounds like she means Stefan Burns. I guess he's a big YouTube.
Thanks, Helen.
Okay.
He's kind of interesting, actually. But and I was thinking of the Stefan, whatever, the military guy that's on the black cube. But
there was
people are seeing these.
Yeah, there was a guy from the CIA in the disclosure stuff and the statements. He was talking about the cubes. I don't remember his name, but he was kind of leading a lot of the testimony. Do you remember what his name is? He's a guy.
That's why I thought she was talking about it first. It's
right.
But I don't remember it right off the bat.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I'd
his
have
name.
to look it up. Yeah. But anyway, it's just interesting that this is coming out again. That it's like dribbles and drabs about these black cubes. I don't know what they are. I don't know why I was dreaming about it. I have no idea. But when I see them, I go like on alert. Like, okay, confirmation that I was seeing something. I don't know what it is.
I mean, it's weird that they're floating around in the sky, that I saw them in the middle of the day, like over someone's house. I mean, maybe they do have something to do with consciousness, like, you know what I'm saying? Changing consciousness.
No
maybe they're not military. Maybe some of them are military made and they're sort of mimicking them and using some of the technology. Was there's some kind of force field around some of them? The one I saw didn't look like that. It did not have a force field around it. It's just a cube. But maybe the ones we have are mimicking that, and maybe we're putting them up to see about surveillance or checking weather patterns. I don't know what we would be doing with them, really. What do you think the purpose of them would be for our military?
Well, I have an interesting take on them.
Okay.
Paul Wallace's book that I'm getting ready to do next. I mean, it'll be a few weeks. He goes to what was ancient Anatolia, Armenia in Turkey, and they're on the hunt for these black basalt boxes that are engraved and that are archaeological artifacts that they're finding all over the place there. Now, I don't know how big they are. It seems like they're not as big as a human being. I don't know what the relative scale is, but I just thought that was interesting because they're all into these black boxes. I thought that's what you guys were talking about when you first started talking about them.
You're talking about the ones like the Mecca thing, like that, the big giant black stone that isn't in Mecca, like where people circle around it?
Well, no and yes.
Okay.
They're not necessarily talking about that, but they're talking about constructed solid black basalt rock boxes, and
Wow.
some of them are engraved.
Huh.
And
they're in the woods and kind of some remote areas. I've seen some stuff about
in the
that.
mountains and in the rocks. And
And people don't know what they are. Yeah.
Well, I'll let you.
That's weird.
Stay tuned. I'll be covering it soon. But
that's weird.
Yeah.
That's very weird. I have no idea what that would.
Yeah, and as far as they're concerned, I have no feeling about it one way or the other, really. It's just that I was having dreams about it for a while. And it's
Right.
like, why do I keep getting these dreams about these black cubes? This makes no sense. I've never seen one. I've never experienced anything like that.
Well, when you were having those dreams about the black boxes, what were the dreams besides about the black box? Were you having any other unusual experiences at all? Or?
No, it was just like a repeating where I was watching them. And they were like floating over residential areas, and people were like coming out and some freaking out over them. It was like they were very visible, whatever they were.
Well, you're dreaming about it because you're supposed to be making them known to a wider number of people.
That could be, yeah.
Hasn't it only been like 3 weeks since you had your last one?
Dream about them?
Yeah.
Well, 3, maybe even a couple months, and now I'm just like just watching for them. I mean, I personally don't relate to them in any way. It's just observing them like you would observe a cow walking through a field is my feeling about it. Except for some of these, I've got a feeling that they're military. That thought disturbs me. Especially if they're flying around when all these drones are out there, because the drones I also feel was military related. And so when all of that was going on. So it looks like it.
You know that Area 51, right, where they had the crashed UFO. Hey, now I'm thinking of the Borg.
Well, it's true. The Borg look like that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Star Trek kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't know what you asked. I don't know the Star Trek. But Area 51 back in the 90s, I knew somebody who I worked with. He worked as I was working as a psychic, and I knew this guy who he would go to Area 51 all the time, and he basically, before it was really militarized still even then, but it was so secret that a lot of people didn't even know it was there really at that time, early 90s. Mm-hmm. And so he knew someone who knew, who was a scientist who knew people that worked there. And basically he was told that they had back engineered, a saucer shaped ships, and that they had a working one, and that they would fly it every night at a certain time. And you could go to this hill, which I think they've since made it so it's not accessible anymore, but you could go to this particular hill and you could watch them fly it. And so he would take people on trips, people from work would go there sometimes with him. I didn't end up going. He was I didn't want to do that because he was a little weird. But anyway, so but a lot of people would go with him and go and observe the ships, So there certainly, even if the early 90s, they had saucer shaped craft that they had reconstructed that we were flying and getting pilots to fly. There's also those triangular shaped UFOs you've seen in the 80s. I saw one of those in 2018 with my family going over while we were coming home at night, and it was very weird. Didn't make any noise. It was one of those standard ones. But they have since, back engineered those as well. And I know our military has craft that look almost identical to those UFOs. I don't see why we wouldn't have the black boxes, you know what I mean, too, like back engineered
exactly.
things.
This is kind of a odd thing I'm just going to throw out there and see what you guys think. I haven't done the consciousness experiment for the past week, and I am feeling to lay low for like the next, almost like the next month. I'm feeling like, that's why, Kathy, I don't want to go out there. I'm getting this really strong feeling. Put your protections up.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have no idea. But don't be floating around in the astral plane. Don't be inviting ships. Don't be. I am
don't
feeling
worry.
like, I'm literally have been using the gold light and turning it into a mirror almost, where it's like, I don't know what this is about, but it has started over the last, after I had that flu, and I just was like woke up like, put the protection up. Don't be throwing your consciousness out there. Stay, because there's some really funky, weird psychic stuff coming, and I don't know if that's like but so that makes me feel better that you had that too, because I thought, well, maybe
I stopped doing it a while ago because I felt like I don't want to do this anymore. It doesn't feel like, I just feel like it's not good. You know what I mean? To do it. I don't really put much thought into it. And I just was like, I'm not doing it right now. So I just stopped.
Well, for me, after I came through from the flu sensation, it was just like, there's some weird stuff in the atmosphere right now, in the psychic atmosphere. There is just something going on. And I can't put a finger on it. I don't know what it is, but it's not good for you. Whatever it is. It's kind of like, keep your protection up.
Yeah, really I've been feeling that too. I've been feeling like every time I try to feel into it, it feels like there's this thing that would always happen before some really bad thing happened. And I would hear that, something wicked this way comes, and that's from
yes, and that hit me yesterday. Walking back, went down to get my coffee, and it like popped right in my head. Something wicked. Because I've had that for years and years. When something weird was about
something really bad is going to happen.
But I heard you say that too. It was like, oh man, I get the same thing, And boy, it hit me yesterday. It's like, just be careful. I don't know what this is that I'm picking up. I have no idea.
That's what I've been trying to figure it out for weeks now. I've been feeling that. I've been sensing, like, I've been given some time frames from my friend on the other side. But I just
I did a video on that.
Yes, totally. Yes, I talked about it on my Substack too. Yes, I don't think that was a coincidence at all.
No, it wasn't at all.
No, because Putin knows all about Vanga. But I definitely feel like there's something coming. I'm not sure if it could be more than one thing. I mean, I was thinking, it feels like when I hear that, though, I know it's not like a natural disaster. That's some kind of human-made thing that's bad. And it's usually a war-related thing. It's some kind of, either
escalation,
maybe this is another escalation. Maybe there's going to be another, it's going to go to the next level in one of those regions, or something else is going to break out, or maybe there's a terrorist attack imminent here or something like that. Something is coming. And
maybe even not human. I don't know what this is, but it's just kind of like, keep your consciousness.
I don't know what it is
in your bubble. Just be centered and grounded. It's just this feeling that I have.
Not just that, but like this sense of like darkness and sadness and real. Like I was saying, I don't remember where I was talking about this. Maybe I don't even know, but I felt it coming last spring, this darkness. And, then I feel like I've gotten used to the darkness. Like this is a level of darkness I'm now used to. Yeah. But now it's like something is getting darker, like a whole other level of darkness. And it feels really, really bad and very overwhelming. Yes, Helen. Yes.
I know you don't want to talk about current events, so I'll try to keep it vague,
Yeah, we need to, because of the monitors out
everything.
there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. However, I'm not feeling that it's extraterrestrial or cosmic in nature. I'm feeling
No, it's
human
psychic.
energy. It's
Yes.
human energy.
It's human. Yeah, it's human. I think it's something is going to, I think it's something is coming. I don't know when though. And that's the other thing, impending doom. That's the feeling I have.
That's a good description.
Yes.
Yeah.
For me, it's like almost like Keith. It's like the only way I could describe this is back in the day, I went to the Maricopa County Fair in Phoenix. And of course, they have the spook house, right? So I went in there, and it freaked me out so bad because it was like you walked and there were like these lights zapping, and they were like these glass cages full of cockroaches. I was so freaked out. I had to get out of there. It was so
And
gross.
you paid to go in there.
Well, I didn't. I mean, I was so, and that's what it feels like to me. Like it comes and it's filthy and it's weird with false lights. There's just something off. It's like off. Like, oh, I should have had a V8 kind of feeling because it's really creepy. And it's just like keep your energy like not floating around, picking up on this crap.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing too. I've been kind of focusing on other things and feeling like I need to just paint or something or do other things because it's just been really dark. It feels like I thought this was a 10, but this is now like doubled. Like the energy is so thick and dark. And I think it might be more than one thing. That's the other thing I feel like. I think it's maybe a multiplicity of different things all kind of busting out. And it's going to be
a synergistic relationship between this global.
Yeah.
So have you been feeling it too, Helen? Kind of like this dread sort of.
Deborah, for several years. It's like I'm tired, it's just every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to talk too much about it, but yeah. I can't be too general. It's hard for me to be general. So I'll just say that it's overwhelming, it's ubiquitous, it's global, it's psychopathological, and yeah.
I mean, I'm wondering if you guys intuitively like some of the things, fight the doom spiral. Yes. Sometimes I feel like this other level or whatever is coming, I felt like a number of different things like escalation, war, escalation in what's happening domestically, and potentially some kind of terrorist attack. It feels like it's multiple things and they're all really traumatizing and
illness
and illness. Yeah, sure. I mean, eventually I feel like there's going to be, there's probably also the next big pandemic coming too, it just feels like, but that I feel like this feels more human, like something very evil is afoot, like people are planning to do very bad things, you know what I mean?
Well, and the thing is, if you're empathic, human intention also feels like psychic spirit because you can feel it, so like if you're around that stuff, and that's what I'm saying. It's like it's like the consciousness energy. There's just this energy thing that's just like
it's impossible.
Just don't put your
it's too icky. It's like walking into a pile of poop or something like that.
Avoid it
energetically.
everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you found like a good place and right people and all that kind of stuff, just kind of stay in that realm, and keep your energy up is the sense I've been getting. But as far as like consciousness throwing or whatever, I've just really had a feeling. Don't do it right now.
Not right now.
Just
I
with
agree
those
with that.
protections. But the gold light thing, that's totally fine. Keep working.
Well, that's
with that.
helpful. Yeah. Those kinds of things are going inward or other things, even like going into the future, which we normally do in my class. If everybody doesn't want to do it, you know what I'm saying? I think everyone feels like I don't even want to know, you know what I'm saying? Because it feels so bad. Instead, we've been doing like working on remote viewing and kind of just focusing on things that, like I had them remote view through 3i Atlas. They didn't know it was 3i Atlas, but it was interesting the different things we got about that. Some people picked up an alien kind of thing. Some people picked up it was a comet, but it's kind of both. You know what I mean? Depending on who you ask. So it's kind of like it kind of made sense.
You could put a device on a comet.
You could.
You know,
you could. That's true. You could, or you could use a comet as a projectile to go through it. You know, and that's a good point. It could be a combination of things going on that we don't fully understand. Yeah. So anyway, I mean, I don't know what to tell people because I feel like also, I think also the thing is it's kind of important to focus on what do we want to do? How do we want to make the world a better place and focus on how do we kind of construct something out of this period of time? Because it's so dark that you just are going to get buried in it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we have to think about what can we do with this on the other side of it? You know what I'm saying? To make it so that we don't have to go through this again. You know what I'm saying? That's, because I don't know what else you can do.
Yeah. And just like practical kind of, things. But that's the message that I have been getting lately. Just stay centered, stay with good people. Just, like, that's why I'm so glad to see you guys again tonight. It's like, yay! I mean, I'm very blessed in my world that, Bo said she had to go. So, but she wanted to thank you all.
Yeah. Deborah, I'm always here. I never leave my house if you need to talk. Put down roots and I'm not moving.
But it's true, like the creative stuff that you're doing, Denise, all that's very uplifting, doing that kind of stuff. Even put these videos together, for me, that's a creative outlet. And
right, absolutely.
Designing apps, all that kind of stuff, because it puts you in this place where there's like no time. I don't know how to explain it. But you just kind of shift your energy. But I do think it was cool that we saw light bouncing around, and then when I feel it, I'll contact Kathy or just go out myself or whatever and just see. But I have to feel them. If I don't feel it, I don't think I'm
then it's going to be, there's nothing that's going to happen. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
I can't believe you guys. Every time you go out in the car with your families, you see something. The only light I ever see is McDonald's or something.
No, you've seen stuff. You saw that UFO.
Yeah, you saw that thing from your bathroom window?
Yeah, but I'm talking about driving around in the car.
For me, it's I always know though beforehand. Even like the trip up to Wisconsin, my friend Chris, I just told her we're going to see a UFO. They just blurt out of my mouth. I don't know where it comes from. We didn't see one until I developed the pictures afterwards. There it was.
God.
So, and it was just like this, a couple weekends ago. It was just like, oh, there's one out there. Go see it. And for me, there's no emotion with it even. It's just so like, oh, fun. We get to go on a trip and just do whatever. And I don't know how to explain it. It's not like, for me, they're not saviors and they're not demons. It's just,
it's neutral.
Okay, one of the relatives.
It's just another thing. Yeah,
that's what it feels like.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we took this for a while. I've missed you guys so much. I appreciate
I missed you guys too. It was very sad that I was really not happy that I didn't even need to take off last week. It was so lame.
Keith is asking premonition, probably, or I'm not sure, Keith, if it's a premonition. It's just like, I don't know how to explain what these are. It's just like this feeling comes out of my mouth and just go with it.
It's an invitation. It's an invitation to be in the right place at the right time.
And the ones I see are usually kind of cool, with like, it's the ones the bad ones, those I can feel too. And it's like, but I don't go towards them. I don't know how to explain it.
Well, you RSVP, no thank you.
Right.
I don't seek them out. I don't seek them out.
Right, yeah, for sure. There are bad ones. That's the ones you want. In fact, I had such a bad experience during this one period of time that I didn't want to even have any experiences at all for a period of time. I was like, don't bother me. at all because it was so negative, you know. But
Yeah.
finally kind of relented, and I was like, okay, I want to see my people again.
That's right. So next time, unless something interesting pops up, I was going to hit on. I started work on it on the. Oh, we just have somebody here. She got here late. Hello, Joy or Jay. Joy. Going back to the beginning. Okay, well, let us know if you think it was a UFO, Joy. But we were going to talk about the AI stuff, so I've started the research on that and putting some things together.
Oh yeah, why don't
on
I hear
it.
about that? That's really weird. I'm gonna have to do some research on that. I've never-
I have something for you. Don't say
Okay,
anything.
well,
Oh,
okay.
is that the cliffhanger for next show?
Yes.
What do you? Okay, good.
The perils of Pauline.
But you know, on other levels, though, AI can be such a wonderful tool. I mean,
Right,
you know,
yeah, of
like even
course.
the analysis with this, some of the other stuff
Right.
I do, but it's just like what you said, Helen, about sightings or whatever. Some people think it's a savior, others think, you know,
Right.
it's a demon. I feel the same way about AI. I'm just sort of like, oh, it is what it is. You make, you know, it's a tool.
I think
It's
it'd
a
be.
neutral
I think
It
it'd be.
needs some
tool, and
regulation.
Yeah, it needs to be regulated. If it's regulated, it's great, and if we can, you know, it can be totally, hugely helpful. But if we just let it run wild and have crazy people programming it to be Nazis,
Right.
not so
Then
great.
it's a problem.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Exactly.
Well, you know, Plato thought that writing was a technology that would destroy the human mind.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. I mean,
Well,
I guess.
remember when Photoshop came out? It was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
everybody was like freaking out over that.
People
You know,
freak out
I
over
mean,
there.
there's some dangers with AI, definitely.
There are.
But we'll
There are
hit on the.
Yeah, there are some. I mean, if AI can be married with robotic technology, then we're really going to have some issues, you know, with
You know,
displacing
Mo,
people.
do are you guys familiar with Mo Godat? He's the Egyptian guy that was he was
Yeah,
a CEO with Google. He's like one of my favorites. You know, like with you, Denise, whenever you'd have a video, it's like, oh, good, there's one of her, and I watch it. And he's the same way. It's like, oh my God, Mo's on. I've got to watch this. And he said it's AI that's not the problem, or it's not
No,
AI that's the
no,
problem.
it's
It's human.
people.
It's
That's
human
right.
stupidity. You
That's
know,
right.
and he's got this really rich, wonderful voice with this accent, and I have his books that I'm reading right now. And
Yeah, because AI could be like
he's
it
just
could
awesome.
liberate us from so many paradigms that are negative if we use it properly. But if we
Yeah.
don't, it could really mess people up. And you know, people are not gonna should have wheels and teeth.
T-Rex are.
Not for you. It's gonna
So they can.
T-Rex. I mean, but you know that the way things are going and the kind of people that are in control of the ship right now, they're going to steer it in a negative direction. I'm afraid. You know, that's the problem. It's not the technology; it's the people.
Yeah. Yeah. And so his prediction, and we'll get into that next show a little bit. He goes, "Yeah, we're going to have like 15 years of basic hell because of human
Oh,
stupidity."
Yeah.
And then he goes, "But on the other side, it's going to be really good." You know,
Well, they
and,
better
the
hurry
guys
up
that
because I'm not getting any younger. This is ridiculous.
Well,
what I
I'm
love
serious.
about him, you know, he's like a just hardcore tech
right,
CEO type, but he's got a sense of spirituality.
right.
And so, you know, he blends, and that's rare to find people that have
Very
that
rare.
balance.
Yeah, very. Yeah. Well, I was watching a little bit. I didn't really watch too much of it, but I was watching a guy who was one of the inventors of AI.
The grandfather, yes.
Yeah. And he was very worried about it.
Yes.
Great.
He's worried, not like you said, it's a tool, but like it's, you know, if it was regulated properly and we had everybody on the same page, it could be amazingly beneficial.
Yep.
But if AI is left to it, you know, with all the greed and the selfishness and the stupidity, you know, it could really, I think it could shatter our economic system and probably
definitely.
really displace
Definitely.
and completely, you know, we would be in a completely different paradigm that people would not be ready for. You know what I mean? It would be pretty bad. Yeah.
And so we'll hit some of those points in the next
Yeah.
show. You know, what some of the experts are saying here and there. But yeah, you guys, if you ever really want to get a really good like spiritual understanding from a tech point of view, that Mo Godat is just wonderful. And he used to be an executive with Google. So very, very cool guy. I really like him. But so y'all, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
It's always so good to see you. And thank you for your expertise on the photography, because I have absolutely zero expertise in that. I don't know what I'm doing. So it's like, all right, it's all good.
That was impressive presentation.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I had fun with it. So, but good to see you, and it's going to be okay, Helen. Just hang tight.
Well, join. Gerald and I are getting together tomorrow, 1:00 Pacific, I think, to knit.
Oh, that sounds fun.
We do that about once a month is about the best we can come up with. I usually end up not even picking up my knitting needles the whole time. We're so busy chatting.
Well, that sounds fun.
It's pretty fun.
That's
fun.
cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's cool.
Well, you know,
so
Gerald
anyway,
is the youngest. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say Gerald is the youngest of 12 children.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm the oldest of 12 children, and we're convinced that we're actually siblings that just missed each other in the crowd.
Probably.
Oh,
that's about the quality of video you're going to get, you guys. A little preview.
Thank you, Keith, for being here. And Easy Life for me, yes, we are definitely going to hit that next show. So that's pretty much the topic about what is going on.
Yeah.
Well, and even like, we were talking about like 2 months ago where they had in court an AI like talking on behalf of a dead person forgiving. Remember that?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I don't see why you couldn't use AI to channel a person, because I was going to say that, all oracles are basically random generators. And a long time ago, I was the first person to do this on the internet. I actually worked with this designer who was asked, it was about my band. I basically developed this. Thanks. I developed this.
Thank you, Joan.
I took all the tarot cards, broke them down, and made this little reading system so that you could get a reading from the computer. And it was very accurate because it's a random generator. Just like if you sat down with a psychic and they threw the cards, it was just a reading. And I don't see why, technology can do it even better than throwing a card or, throwing bones. I mean, it's basically just a random generator. And if everything is spirit, then spirit will speak through that. It will manipulate the computer. You know what I'm saying? So it makes sense.
Including even like these spirit boxes. So maybe we'll,
if
I can figure out how to do it technically on the show, I'll have a spirit box talk to an AI and we'll see what happens.
That would be interesting. Oh my God.
I have to think this through how I can do it.
Helen looks scared. She looks horrified. She's like,
I'm living in a dystopian nightmare everywhere I turn. I swear to God.
So freaked out. I don't think I've ever seen you look freaked out before.
That Ray Bradbury, that quote,
something wicked this way.
Those are the scary stories that terrified me when I was 12 and 13.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. I want to thank everybody. If the Terminator went to Sedona, it's just 3D braining. Right on, girl. Anyway, I'm going to end this, and we'll see you Wednesday night. And I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. And thank you, Helen. Thank you, Denise. And also to both of Kathy.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
She's so fun.
Thanks so much for joining us. We love hearing your stories, so tell your friends so they can join the party. For show notes and our forum of high strangeness, visit cosmicfold.com. Remember, Cosmic Fold airs live on Wednesday and Saturday nights, so be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell to know when we're on air. Thanks again and have a great evening.